person trying to Barry Howard. This is for the young attorney in this community. We had called our office concerning the lack of highway and road funds coming to Hinds County. We went over the numbers that showed, whether it's recall director or whoever else involved, it showed that Madison County, with a population of 91,000, and Rankin County with 120-some thousand. Yet they're getting monies for road repair that's greater than Hinds County, which is the largest county population-wise in the state of Mississippi. So I asked them to come in and address this board and voice some of this concern. Mr. Allen.
Ladies and gentlemen of the board, I'm here to discuss with you this morning fair and equitable distribution of highway and road funds. In the past 5 years, I've noticed an inordinate amount of building in the Madison and Rankin County area. Rankin County has completed or is actively working on a number of projects. I specifically make reference to the road construction that has been taking place on I-20 between Pearl and Brandon. There is a new 4-lane roadway that's leading to the airport. There's also a 4-lane roadway that's about to open soon in the Dogwood area that runs down beside Chick-fil-A. There's also new streets and access roads that have been recently incorporated in the Trustmark Park area, as well as 2 additional new lanes that have been added in the Spillway area. When I look at Madison County, I've noticed that in the past 5 years, there has been the transformation of Highway 51 from a 2-lane to a 4-lane road from Richmond to Madison. There's been the adding of additional lanes and the increase of the traffic capacity at the Madison exit, the Madison ramp. They reworked that whole ramp in order to have a better traffic flow in that area. There's been the opening of the Union Parkway, as well as there is been a new frontage road that has been currently under construction. They just started this between Madison and Richmond. In addition to 2 or 3 weeks ago, they just opened up a new flyway. It's called a Hoy Road Flyway that assists a few hundred people that lives above Highway 51 to have a faster and better access to the interstate. When I look at Hinds County, I see things that are woefully inadequate that really needs to be addressed and that we really need help on. One of the things that comes to mind immediately that was a problem for a while, and they really tried to put a Band-Aid on the gunshot wound, was when there was a problem, if you may be familiar with this, with there being too many accidents when individuals tried to transition from the I-55 on-ramp at Woodrow Wilson and try to get over to Lakeland Drive. It's a short little passageway there. First they put up some little rubber barriers, and people kept running over them and trying to get over to make that turn until they had to put a concrete wall there. Well, you got tens of thousands of people that come through there every day. The appropriate remedy for that was a flyway. If many of you have been coming down to the Jackson area in order to try to conduct business in the area, you could be coming down in the downtown Jackson in the middle of the day on State Street, and there's a train running down through there. And it impedes business that's coming in the Jackson area. If you happen to be one of the individuals that's caught prisoner over in the Maple Street area, trying to transition before the train that's always blocking the way over there. We have many problems that need to be addressed in Jackson, Mississippi. When I look at the statistics, as Supervisor Stoke has reference to, according to the 2010 census, Hinds County has a population of 245,285 people. According to information that I received from the Madison County Economic Development Authority, whose recent statistics was of the year 2011, Madison County's population is 97,910 people. According to the Rankin County Chamber of Commerce and their 2012 data, the population of Rankin County is 143,124. Hinds County, by about 3,000 to 3,500 people, exceed the population of Madison and Rankin County. Yet we're getting much less funding in the way of federal programs.
Okay, could you kind of wrap it up, because I want to make sure that every supervisor has an opportunity to speak to this issue, because I don't think that you're finding anyone in opposition to what you're saying.
He's good. He's good. He's saying he's going to open up some supervisors.
Okay, well, I mean, that's just
presentation great.
right. I want to bring that to your attention, and what I'm requesting is authority from this board to investigate this matter. And if need be, we're trying to handle it diplomatically, but if need be, to try to file a lawsuit so we can get it with only what's fair and what's just for Hinds County.
Well, one of the things I want to say, and I'll go defer to the other supervisors, is Supervisor Fisher and I had an opportunity to visit and to attend a meeting with the MPO, and we saw firsthand all of your information is accurate. Hinds County is not getting their fair share. We totally agree with you, but there is a process, and we are trying to find out how we fit in this particular process. In addition to that, yesterday I learned the reauthorization of the transportation bill. I think sometimes referred to as safety loop. I don't know how that's going to affect federal dollars coming into the county, but that should affect us in a positive way. But Supervisor Fisher has a lot more information on this particular issue, because we did note when Commissioner Hall was giving out the list of places where construction was either started or that was complete. There was like 8 or 9 or 10 different jobs under construction in Madison County, about 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 in Rankin County, and there was 1 in Hinds County. So we do have personal knowledge of everything that you're saying is correct. Mr. Fisher?
You're correct. There is a process. The Metropolitan Planning Organization, or MPO, is that organization where the counties under the Central Mississippi Planning and Development District get together and basically vote on and work on the projects that the majority of that board suggests for everybody to go to. Over the previous 4 years, there was only one road in Hinds County that was repeatedly brought up. And so we're really behind the 8 ball, to be honest with you. Now that we've got new members on the board, we are looking at a number of other roads. And he's right, the question came up about the apparent disparity that you're talking about. And the response, I believe it was that question, correct me if I'm wrong, Al, the response that I got was, there's various pots of money. And that, in fact, for the Fortification Street project, Jackson, Hinds County, got all the paving money out of that. There's a paving fund, construction fund, different types of funds. So their counter was Jackson got all the paving money for the Metropolitan Planning Organization for Fortification Street. So where we look at, we need a new road, or we need reconstruction, or we need paving, the board looks at, the overall picture. They're saying, well, they got this, and then these guys got that, and they got that. But it is a process that we're working on, and you're preaching to the choir. Hallelujah! You sound like you may be a preacher on the side, at least on this topic that you speak with such passion on. But you're right, and it's something that Mr. Graham and I are working on now. We've joined that board, and we are presenting those types of projects and information to that board. The funds that Congress voted on last week, I believe included in those funds was this one road that they've been working on for 4 years. We have to get through the cycle, through all that. I was going to call CMPDD today and find out. But after that, for construction purposes, widening purposes, I don't really know of anything else that's on there. So it's an issue that we've got to work on. So thank you for so eloquently bringing this forward to us today and letting us know. If I'd known this was the topic you were going to speak on, I've been able to bring you more factual information and less off the top of my head, but we do have information in our offices. We can get with you on in more detail if you'd like.
Mr. President,
Ms. Calhoun,
who was speaking, please, and I want to make a comment.
it's Mr. Attorney Howard.
Mary Howard.
Okay. What I was going to say, highway dollars generally come from three sources. That is the Highway Transportation Commissioner's appropriation, the Mississippi Department of Transportation, federal earmarks, and sometimes via grants. So those are your basic sources for highway dollars. A lot of the highway dollars that are appropriated or that go to local government are appropriated by our commissioners, highway commissioners. A lot of Madison's and Lincoln's projects have been, those dollars have been appropriated by the commissioners.
Okay. All right, thank you very much. Mr. Howard, I'd like to see you at least to continue to investigate this and to possibly come back in front of the board with some information that you found, because it's something that we've been trying to wrap our hands around this, and it's a very difficult process. The process is very long, it's tedious, and it's hard to get your hands around. So I would like to see you do that. If it's a pleasure to the board to just continue to look into this and eventually just come back and let us know what you found out.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Howard.
Thank you. Continue, Mr. Stokes.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, I talked to the city attorney on Hinds BOS. I talked to her later, and we'll skip this item. On the third item is the Planning Commission from District 5. We appointed Mr. Kenneth Mabry, a young man who has 2 degrees from Hinds Junior, 3 degrees, I'm sorry, from Hinds Junior College, 1 in air conditioning,
Electrician.
and college. Thank you, sir.
What's the pleasure of the board?
So moved.
It's been moved. Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and properly seconded. All those in favor of?
Yes.
Opposed to? Motion passes. Will the clerk please read the order?
Resolved to appoint Mr. Kenneth Mabry to the Hinds County Planning Commission for District 5.
Okay.
Mr. President, we'll hold item number 4. I had a chance to talk to the board attorney, and we need to work out some things. On item number 6, the regional jail, Mr. President, I looked at Mr. Rod Hill, and I don't know if there's some busing, or maybe the county administrator and city attorney, county attorney can research this, that we have a contract maybe sometime about a regional jail here. And I don't know if it's expired or if it still exists, but we need to find out the status of it. And we can plan, make some plan whether or not the state is still interested or what.
Well, I can tell you, for being totally involved in that the reason why there was no longer in consideration was the fact that the Commissioner of Corrections, Mr. Epps, advised that if we built it, that he did not have any prisoners, that he would not put any prisoners in it. So that basically just made it, it voided the entire process. We had purchased the land, the location, we were ready to move forward, but Mr. Epps just advised us that due to the economy and the amount of prisoners that it would take to actually put in this jail, that he would not be able to devote those type of resources. I think Ms. Martin may have some additional information, but I think that was basically the reason why we decided at that point was that there were no prisoners, that we could still build it, but nobody would come, and nobody would, he would not give any prisoners.
Do we still own the property?
We still have the property, we still pay for the property with bond money. It was one of the sites that would possibly be considered for a new jail, as opposed to a regional jail. But we still have the property, and the property is there just adjacent to where the jail is now.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Mr. President, I asked some gentlemen to come concerning broadband internet in the rural area. And would y'all please come forward? And let me tell you, and let's move to item number 6.
Okay.
Mr. President, it was a conference here recently, and it deals with the rural areas not having access to the internet. And some years back, went to a conference dealing with Wi-Fi, and those, I understand that it's almost obsolete now because this technology changed so fast and everything. And I asked them, how can we get, they said some parts of the rural area of Hinds County, they can use the cable, where I think they use satellite or something. And they said there's no computer access whatsoever. And mostly the majority, some may have, but the majority do not. How can we get the computer readiness into rural Hinds County? And BJ said they may have some national comments we can report. Thank you.
Mr. President, other board members, my name is Nathan Hargrove, and on the issue that Supervisor Stokes has mentioned, I tend to agree with the assessment by the Federal Communication Commission, that broadband is one of the greatest challenges facing us here in the early 21st century. This is going to be the digital divide.